Hello, YouTubers. This is Larry up in Brainerd, Minnesota. This is part 1 on how to germinate and start your tobacco seeds. I had posted a video a short time ago telling my subscribers or new subscribers that if you sent me a self-addressed stamped envelope, I'd be more than glad to send you some of my cherished Virginia Gold tobacco, which I think is some of the best, the smoothest of all the tobaccos. It's easy to cure. It gets a nice sized leaf, and we'll get to that whole part about processing the whole thing. But what I want to do on this video is get you started with germinating those seeds you're going to receive, and then we'll get into later episodes I'll be doing. I'll step you and walk you right through the whole process, right up till you're shredding it and smoking the tobacco, okay? Well, first of all, when you get those seeds, they're probably going to be the smallest seeds that you have ever seen. Tobacco seeds are incredibly small. I mean, they make radish seeds look like a boulder, okay? They're really small. But done correctly, we'll get over that hurdle, no problem. When you get the seeds, be very careful opening them. Even any static electricities, they want to cling. Just be real careful with it because they're just so tiny, okay? Okay, we're going to have to, and you just don't take tobacco seeds, of course, and put out and just put them in your garden, okay? You got to start them indoors. Even your commercial tobacco growers anymore, years and years ago, they did start them. They started little seed plots where they would prepare a little soil, put down some seeds, and cover them with a little straw and stuff, and they would sprout, and then they'd transplant those into their fields. Anymore, it's almost done exclusively with hydroponics, where they raise them in flats, and then they take seedlings out to the field and plant them. And basically, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to do it hydroponically, but we are going to do it in flats, okay? Once you get your seeds, okay, we're going to have an area where we can keep warm. They're going to germinate best at 75 to 80 degrees, okay? Now you can't, what I'm going to show you, here's the kind of trays I like. And the reason I like them is because you can sprinkle the seeds over the top of your medium that you're going to start them in and water from the bottom. You will mist them with a spray. You want a spray mist bottle. Don't get one you had chemicals in. Go down to the dollar store or Walmart or some other place and pick up a $1, $2 one just for this. You don't want it to be contaminated with any chemicals or anything, okay? As far as medium, you can buy seed starter mix. Okay, I have done it that way. If you already got some Miracle-Gro potting mix, not potting soil, and do not use dirt for starting you want a light potting mix. There's a difference. Has no soil in it. It's usually perlite or vermiculite and a little fertilizer and a little pine bark, and it has some sphagnum peat moss. You can use that. I used it last year, worked just fine. Some people say, well, you shouldn't have the fertilizer in there. It didn't bother me, and I raised almost 1,000 plants. You'll see that in a video coming up. Just like I said, you can buy a commercial starter mix, is fine, or just take some like Miracle-Gro potting mix. What you want to maybe do is screen it a little bit. So take any big chunks out so you have a fine mesh. That'll work better. Shift it out. Get a colander. Get something to or a screen and sift it. Okay, now you're going to want to take it, and this was what works best. You don't bury tobacco seeds. Tobacco seeds are put right on the surface. They won't germinate if you start burying them. They won't. They're done differently, okay? Take one of those trays. Now I've done it with the little peat pot ones with the holes in that swell up and all that. They're okay, but I like this way because you can spread out the seeds. When they germinate and come up, you can pick out the very best ones and transplant them. That's why I like this method a little bit. Some are going to germinate, some are not. And this way, you're not wasting a little peat pot by putting a seed in it and it doesn't germinate. This way, you just pick out the ones you want to do it. And I like these little liftable trays where they're in the trays. You take your peat moss or whatever you're going to do, put it in there, wet it well, okay? Then sprinkle your seeds evenly over the top. And you can lightly just pat them down if you want. Then take a mister and mist them well. And if you've got one that has the cover that goes over the top, that's great. If you don't, take some cellophane plastic and cover it. You want to hold the humidity in. You want it in a warm spot, like I said. Now, you don't need grow lights on it right away. You can have it. It won't matter. But sometimes they even germinate a little better in the dark. But check them every day, because when they come, they really come. As soon as you see any of them sprouting, immediately get them under some grow lights. Now, for a grow light, you want to do this inexpensively, go down to Walmart or your Home Depot or something. You can get these standard 4-foot shop lights. I know they got them at Walmart because I got a bunch of them there that plug in. They're inexpensive. I think like $10 for the 4-foot shop light. Then, of course, you have to buy the tubes. They do have grow light tubes, okay? They're pretty inexpensive. I think $3-4 a piece. That'll get you a bunch started because you can get quite a few. The key to putting those under a grow light is, here's a mistake most people make. They got their grow lights up a foot and a half above their plants. No, then you're going to get what's called real leggy plants when they come up, long, skinny, and want to tip over. No. As soon as you see any sign of germination, get those grow lights just directly above those plants and only an inch and a half, okay? Because then they're going to fill out better and they're going to do much better, and then gently, slowly raise them just to maintain that height until they get up, an inch and a half. You want to leave them in that tray and water, and, okay, if you have germinated and the rest haven't, go ahead, keep just spraying daily, even a couple times a day. Lift that cover off, mist the top. You almost can't get it too wet with the mister anyway. Make sure that the potting mix will peel over in a corner. Make sure it's staying moist. If it's not, add water. Lift one of the little containers up. Lift water, put water in the tray and let it absorb from the bottom. That works the very best for maintaining water in these. It's much easier to do it that way. The misting is just to help the seeds germinate. The watering you want to do from the bottom by taking one of the little seed trays, the little racks that pop out of that they're setting on, and just lift up the corner of that, and you can pour water. You can put a half an inch in or so, and check back on it and see if it's absorbed up. If it's all gone, you can add a little bit more till it just absorbs it. Once they're about an inch tall and they have two what you call true leaves, nice leaves, now you can transplant them into another pot. Another little seed, the little peat ones or little solo cups. What I like to do is transplant them into medium-sized solo cups. This year I'm going to do it different. I have done it that way and had great success, but I'm going with the soil blocks. I really like the soil blocks because, and I've got a video on here, okay, and I'll put a link to it right below. You can click on that. One of my other videos on using soil blocks, and it's a really good video. Explains exactly how there's different sizes. But what works great about them is you can get so many condensed in such a small space, and then you can pick out the right seedlings, okay? And they claim with the soil blocks there's no transplant shock when you put them in the ground because the roots, what they call air prune, they go to the edge of the block and stop, and you just miss those blocks to keep them moist. Okay, once you've got those where you're ready to, if you're going to put them in a cup and you don't want to go with the soil blocks, what I found out works good is get some medium-sized plastic cups. And then you get yourself one of them little soldering irons, okay? Remember the old ones that plugged it? You can buy them in hobby shops. Walmart's got them there. They're $5-6. They're just a straight little soldering iron. And what you want to do is plug them in and get that hot and punch like 3 little holes all the way around the bottom of these solo cups. Fill that with your potting mix. Transplant that little seedling that's now an inch tall or whatever, your best ones, into that. And you can transplant it right up to the leaves like you would a tomato plant, okay? You can transplant them right up. Watch them, like I said, watch them when they start popping out, because they're going to get really scraggly. You know, they get really tall, skinny, so you might even want to move a little dirt around to support them. Once you've transplanted them, then you can take those and put them in another tray, something that'll hold water, and water from the bottom. When they feel down in there with your finger in the top of the cup, when it's starting to get dry, they don't like to be too overwatered in the cups, okay? They like it moist, but they don't want to be sopped, or the roots don't do good, or they'll die. You want to let them suck up the water until you can even feel the cup lifted. If there's some weight to it, it's pretty moist. When it starts getting pretty light and dry, add some water to the bottom of the tray. It'll absorb up into that potting mix, and they'll do good. Now you can move them out into your greenhouse, which I've done, and that works great. I got a little greenhouse I got last year. I just love it. And I have here's a little video I'll pop up on it, and you can see. Okay, there's my tobacco plants. Some of them I've transplanted, some of them I haven't. Here's a bunch there. All Virginia Gold I planted this year, because it seems to grow the best and gets the nicest, more yield. Here's the ones I transplanted a couple days ago. You can see the little suckers are taking off like crazy. I got to get my greenhouse up tomorrow so I can get them out there. Hey, they're just taking off like crazy. I just watered them a little dry. But look at all of them I got to transplant. Thousands of them. I'm going to be a busy boy tomorrow. Got a lot of transplanting to do. Got to get them all transplanted and get them moved out to that greenhouse. You know, my goal is 3,000 tobacco plants, and I think I probably should have that. And there it is, a little quick view of it. So this is Larry's new addition to the garden area. Finally got this little puppy put up today. Yep. Got her put up. It looks pretty nice. I put a little heater in there, a little oil-filled heater, electric oil-filled heater, and heck, it's keeping it pretty dang warm. We'll just take a peek in there. 82. Yeah, unreal. Got some plants in there. 82. I think they'll be okay tonight. My thermometer tells me how cold it gets. Has a minimum and a maximum on it, so I'll check it later. But yeah, this door opens up, and one on the back. The sides lift up and clip up, so there's airflow there. This thing is built pretty good. It's pretty heavy duty stuff. $225 at Mills Fleet Farm in Brainerd. I don't think that's too bad. Got this garden all cleared out. Gotta get it, got the old tobacco out of it, the old stumps. This is the garden here. Got to see all the buckets. Yeah, it's going to be a totally different setup this year. Larry's automatic garden. All the buckets will be sitting on troughs, and a flow to control the water level, and I'll plant it and forget it. Yep, that'll be it. But yeah, that's my new greenhouse. Geez, I wish I had two of them, matter of fact. I am going to build a big one this summer. So, hope this gets me by. This is Larry from Brainerd, Minnesota. Okay, that's pretty much it for getting them started. In the next episode, I'm going to cover transplanting them into your garden or hopefully your self-watering rain gutter system, if you want to try a couple in that. But if you're going to plant them in the your field, I can tell you that right now, if you're going to prepare your field, here's what you want to remember. They love wood ash. So if you have a chance to get if you have a wood stove, or a friend does, or outside wood stove, get a couple 5-gallon buckets of wood ash. You want to sprinkle some on your garden when you get ready to plant it. They love it. And they are high nitrogen feeders, okay, like corn almost. Tobacco plants like lots of manures, lots. So if you got lots of horse manure, cow manure, chicken manure, whatever, you want to have your garden prepared for that, wherever you're going to put the tobacco. Now, like I said, I have grown them. I went down and bought when I was really hurting for area, until I bartered with a friend of mine and said, I'll put you in a garden if you give me a little plot I can put a bunch of tobacco in, because I want to use my other gardens here at home for vegetables. They were happy because they didn't know a lot about gardening. I put in a nice garden spot, and they gave me like a 45 by 90. I put like 500, 600 plants in last year. But you can raise them in a 5-gallon bucket. Tobacco plants. I've done that. I've raised them in the dollar soil bags, just the cheapies you go to Walmart and get, by just punching a couple little holes for drainage on the bottom and cutting a little slit in the top and doing a little bag garden. Plant them right at. What really works good is if you take the bag and flip it on its side. Don't let it lay flat, but flip it on its side and kind of bunch it up. You get more depth that way. Then plant the tobacco plants. Matter of fact, there was a guy, one of our tobacco farmers, is pretty funny. He lived in a trailer park, and his whole parking area in the front of the trailer he must have had 200 bags out there with tobacco plants, and they did pretty good. It was pretty crazy. But anyway, like I said, the next video, I'll get into the planting in the fields and everything like that. But just to keep in mind, have your hand available some wood ash, because they love wood ash, and some fertilizer. Good. I mean, you can use regular fertilizer too, but I'm just saying they really like they're a high nitrogen user. They really like a lot of. So I use lots of horse manure. Okay, and then they'll really take off. But anyway, that concludes this part of it. Like I said, be careful with your seeds when you get them. Very gently, get your pot, get everything ready. Keep your lights right over your plants, and you'll have no problem. Like I said, a couple times a day, make sure you hold that moisture in warm spot. Spray them, those seeds, to keep them wet when they're on top. And then you can pick out the ones that look the best and transplant them to other little pots, okay? If you got any questions, send me a message. Or I'll have links to the other tobacco forums on the bottom of this video also. Okay, if you like this video, say like. If it's the first time you ever heard any of my videos, hit subscribe. Check out my other ones. There's lots more to come, people. This is part 1. Part 2 is coming up next episode on transplanting and getting your tobacco plants going in the garden or in your little tobacco field or pot or container or whatever. Okay, this is Larry up in Brainerd. Ciao.